The next iMac is due to be getting a big upgrade this year and could very well be the computer of my dreams with a brand new redesign, new M1X chip, and fun new colors. Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here, and apparently Apple has been reading my diary because I am a huge fan of the original 1998 iMac. In fact, that was the first Mac that I have ever used, and it was the product that I actually edited my first video on so many years ago. So pay some respect to young Greg and hit that subscribe button because this is going to be an exciting year for his inner child, and I don't think you want to miss him unboxing one of these rumored iMacs later this year. Now, one of the things I liked most about the original iMac was the design of the computer, which was really a stark contrast from every other boring-looking PC desktop tower on the market, complete with a beige monitor and beige desktop tower. The iMac just looks so different with its transparent plastic shell, and it was playful too, coming in a wide array of colors that was anything but boring. Look around at today's PC and Mac landscape, and you'll notice that things could use a shakeup. Most computers aren't beige anymore, but they're not exactly fun or playful anymore either. Most are coming in either silver, grayish, or black finishes, which is why I think it would be a great idea if Apple shook this up again by introducing a line of Mac products with more color options. And that looks like just what they're doing, with friend of the channel Jon Prosser putting out a major leak on the design of the next iMac, which will not only include the slimmer bezels and iPad-inspired design, but will also apparently be coming in multiple color options. These finishes that are being worked on right now are apparently the same exact finishes as the current iPad Air, so in this leak, Prosser shows concepts of a silver, space gray, sky blue, green, and pink iMac. These are the same color options available on Apple's iPad Air, as well as Apple's AirPods Max. Now these look great, but I really gotta hand it over to Ian over at Renders by Ian, who made these amazing high quality renders of the iMac inspired design from information obtained by Jon Prosser. And I think he really brought to life what we might see in a potential future iMac. And I just gotta say, these look amazing. Ian graciously let me use these renders in my video, so please go check him out and give him a follow because he's doing amazing work, and I'm sure he's gonna produce even more amazing concepts going forward. And I love this leak, and I hope it turns out to be true. Apple really hasn't played around too much with Mac colors in general, and the closest thing we got to introducing some color in the Mac lineup was with the gold options offered by the MacBook and the MacBook Air. But I think it's time to expand those color options into more choices for its users. Having multiple color choices spices things up. And while it has no impact on the usability of the computer, personalization is important when feeling a connection to a product, an experience that Apple usually nails. A color choice in a product, even if it's just limited to 5 options, gives you slightly more choices in picking out a computer, and it kind of seems like it was made for you a little bit more. And if Apple releases a blue iMac, you know I'll be all over it. My only criticism with these concepts and these colors in general is I wish they were a bit bolder. I've seen how the finishes look on the recent iPad and AirPods Max, and some of the color choices look a bit muted, so I would actually want more vibrant and saturated finishes than the ones we are seeing in these concepts right now. But overall, I would take any color options at this point. But there's going to be so much more to the next iMac redesign than just colors. We can also see in this concept art some things we've known for a while, according to other leaks and rumors. This is that the next iMac will have a very iPad Pro inspired design, moving away from the curvy ultra slim sides into a more flatter design complete with a uniform flat back, almost like a bigger, thicker iPad Pro propped up on a stand, or like the more recent Apple Pro Display XDR, minus those giant holes in the back. I kind of don't know what was going on with that design. I guess for heat. And as we've heard in the past, the iMac will also be receiving a major reduction in the bezels and the removal of the iMac chin, which has been with us design-wise since 2004. And we can see from this concept that the redesigned iMac basically looks exactly like a souped-up iPad Pro from the front. However, I'm not sure if this will be the ultimate final design, because we've also heard rumors saying that the front of the iMac might look similar to the Pro Display XDR, which when I'm comparing these side by side, the Pro Display XDR appears to have even slimmer bezels than this concept. I'd actually be interested to know, what design would you prefer in the comments below? This iPad Pro-like front, or the front design of the Pro Display XDR? Which do you think Apple should go with? Now, because the bezels are shrinking, the iMac is also due to be getting an update in the screen size, especially for the smaller 21.5-inch model. Ming-Chi Kuo says the panel size of the smaller iMac now will be moved up to 24 inches, and if Apple follows suit with the same philosophy on the bigger 27-inch iMac, the screen size will most likely move up to somewhere around 32 inches. However, Apple could also choose to make the larger iMac smaller in physical footprint size and keep the display size at the same 27 inches, kind of like they did with the 12.9-inch iPad Pro update. They shrunk the overall size of the device when reducing the bezels, rather than updating that old iPad Pro body with a larger display in the same physical footprint. So right now, it's really up in the air what Apple will choose to do with the bigger iMac display size. The display will not only look better cosmetically because of the smaller bezels, but the display itself will look better, with Apple incorporating new display technologies. Most rumors and leaks seem to indicate that Apple is planning to add a mini LED display to most of their product lines this year, with the iPad Pro being the first device to receive it, probably sometime this month in March, and the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro probably sometime around June. The iMac would also receive this mini LED display, which will lead to greater dynamic range in the display with higher brightness levels, higher contrast ratios, thanks for the ability for the mini LED to dim in zones, and the ability to view HDR content for the first time on an iMac. Perhaps the most exciting part of this iMac upgrade has nothing to do with the visual design update, because we are also expecting this iMac to adopt Apple's next generation M1X chip. I've talked about the M1X chip in my past few videos, so honestly you might be bored of it at this point, so I'll leave some links up here if you want to learn even more. But for those of you who didn't watch that video, we are basically expecting a major upgrade to Apple's next generation chip with a combination of 12 core processors with 8 high performance cores that should lead to significantly better multi-core performance when compared to the available Intel Macs on the market, making them one of the highest performing Macs, only outclassed by the highest end Mac Pros. Besides this gain in CPU power, we are also expecting a major graphics jump, with the M1X featuring double the GPU cores than the M1. This 16-core design would be able to elevate that integrated GPU closer to what we would expect out of a dedicated graphics card. However, I don't think that this next generation GPU will be able to outclass what Apple currently has in their highest end dedicated GPU chips in the Intel iMac. I think it's going to be hard for them to get that integrated GPU up to this level this quickly, but there's a lot of unknowns, so maybe Apple has some secret thing they're working on. Maybe they're even making a dedicated GPU that we just don't know about. There's also a lot of other unknowns at this point. We've heard a lot about the iMac, but we don't know exactly everything that's going to be on it in terms of features. Now, we have heard that Apple is working on an iMac with Face ID, but apparently it's not going to be ready for this first iteration, so we might kind of see that come in a second iteration of this iMac design. We also don't know how high memory configurations will go for this iMac. We've heard maybe that'll be up to 32 gigabytes, maybe it can go all the way up to 64 gigabytes. And we also don't know other things, like maybe the webcam might be getting an even bigger upgrade than the last Intel iMac, which had a 1080p webcam, and all those other smaller features like microphones and speakers. There's still a lot of unknown information about this next generation iMac, but everything we hear about it just makes me more excited. As for when you can get your hands on this exciting update to the iMac, which Mark Gurman from Bloomberg reported is going to be one of their biggest product refreshes of the year, well, it looks like we're probably going to have to wait a bit longer, as Gurman reported in his piece on the iMac that Apple is planning to launch 2 iMacs, and they're going to be coming later this year. So it doesn't sound like they will be coming in March. They could possibly be out in June at WWDC, but this wording of later this year definitely gives Apple some leeway that they might release this product towards the end of this year rather than in March or in the middle of this year. So we really don't know, but I'm really hopeful for a June release. Either way, we are still expecting this major redesign to the iMac to happen sometime this year. So if you want to know even more as we get more information, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Also, if you like this video, hey, make sure you give me a like. Also, be sure to let me know, what do you think of this latest slew of iMac leaks and rumors? And are you excited for this colorful new redesign? Also, if you're tired of waiting for the new Macs, check out some of my other recommendations in the links below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.